The pound versus the yen is just a classic short position. We've been waiting for this, well, we got into this last week. For obvious reasons, we had a decent recovery from the 100-week moving average right at the beginning of June. Been a bit of a difficult crawl up. We didn't have a position through this, by the way, but this was an obvious sell. Obvious. Look at that trend line, 38.2% Fibonacci and the 500-day moving average. You know, just too many hurdles there. We had to reverse, and indeed we did. Now this candle alone on the weekly chart shows us that the move has only just started. Huge engulfing candle to confirm that this resistance has held and we will head lower. More than likely we'll see 144.30 at least. Then we'll probably test 143.60 if that's broken, and I don't really see that holding either. So this all looks pretty negative. You saw the cable chart, so the pound did have a strong run up, which you can now see on this bullish candle here, but the weekly chart is just negative, so I've got to stick with that. So we're going to have to be selling into any recovery. Now it's too risky to sell it because, of course, we've already dropped significantly. If you're still short, that's fine. I am still short, although I did cover at least half the position on Friday, so I am looking to sell into this if we can get some strength or if we start to break support levels. So I'll put all that into the report if this is a pair that you like to trade and you want to follow it. This is just a problem that we've got this morning. We've already got the moves that I expected. So now to get back in, or if you're a new subscriber, to get back in for the first time is going to be tricky because, of course, you can't just sell it blindly here when there could be a decent recovery. Right, the dollar yen, we waited for it to rally last week. We were very patient. We waited for it to get to close to 113.20. Well, I jumped in early. Fortunately, I got in the low 113 area. We topped 4 pips at least from the selling area. You can see why it reversed, and if you did jump into a short on this one, well done. This negative candle here does tell me that the dollar yen is just beginning to turn around and drop. Unfortunately, I took my profit on this one as well around the 111.60 area on Friday before I went to bed. So I'm now missing out on further downside on this, and I do think this is going to drop significantly. So again, I need to try to get short on this. I need to see something of a bounce. We are very oversold in the short term, so it's possible we will see a little bounce. I don't expect much, but I'll put some levels on the sheet for you, and if we do get a decent bounce, a little bounce, we can start to sell into a short position here. Love to see 112.00, 112.10, but I'm not sure we're going to even see that. So just let me do the analysis properly and write the report, and you'll get some ideas of where to start selling it on any recovery. If you trade the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar, this is the chart. Yeah, it's clearly in a bull trend, but bearing in mind what I think about the US dollar, I think it's probably going to go lower. These are all gut feelings. The chart really isn't telling me anything, so I'm not trading this. I'm leaving it alone. Gold. Gold was my one losing trade last week, at one stage anyway. I saw this trend line and the 200-week moving average as strong support, so we were buying down to the mid 12.30 area with a stop below 12.30. Well, it was a relatively low risk trade, so I don't regret it, but the market did collapse as far as a 61.8% fib at 12.15, which I said was likely to hold, and it did. We only overran as far as 12.11. That was still too risky to buy into a long, and I don't regret that call. Or you can't buy it just on the basis of one Fibonacci support, although we are significantly oversold, of course. Anyway, from there, if you covered shorts, you did extremely well, and I know a lot of you did get short on that break below 12.30. So if you'd managed to get a decent couple of 10, 15 points out of that, I think that's decent enough profit, and you certainly would have made back more than you'd lost on the long. Now we've had a big bounce back, of course, as the dollar sells off. So what happens here? Well, we've got resistance at 12.33.35, which did hold perfectly on Friday. I think that's too risky for a short. I think I would wait for the trend line up in the mid 12.40 area before I short this. So it's probably just a waiting game. We've got a decent-ish bullish candle from Thursday, followed by a very positive candle on Friday. So we probably will continue up, but to be safe, again, I call this no man's land. We're right in the middle of the fib areas at least, so I wouldn't be buying it now. I'm going to have to wait. I'm sit this one out, and I will sell it in the mid 1240 area, assuming that will hold, and see if it turns around. I have nothing to say on oil, silver, or the E-mini S&P. They're just not flashing any signals at me, so I'll leave them alone. This is Bitcoin, which is quite interesting as we test this trend line going back to the middle of January. So what's that? That's a good 6-month trend line, and the 100-day moving average at around 7,600. I've been predicting that these levels will hold, and I've been predicting that we will continue the bear trend, this trend of lower highs and lower lows, and eventually collapse back down below 5,900 or whatever this low is, 57.80. If we start to hold above 7,700, this will be a very strong buy signal. And whilst I don't think it will happen, we've got to be aware of it. I'm very, very small short Bitcoin. I trade it small because it can spike around, and I don't watch it too closely. So I just keep small positions on for fun. And if I make a few $100 out of it, I'm happy. But we're overbought. We've got some significant resistance there. So if you do trade Bitcoin, or if you do like it, the shorts are working. And let's see if we can retest these lows down here. Okay, so I'm going to crack on with the analysis. That's going to take me 2 or 3 hours. I'll send you out the reports. If I enter any trades based on what I've just shown you, I'll send you an email, let you know, and then you can try to copy the trade. But it's going to be a waiting game this morning, and it's going to be a game of hoping that the dollar see some recovery so we can try and get in at levels that are less risky, get into short dollar positions that are less risky. In particular, I'd like to sell the dollar yen on a bounce. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Otherwise, it's a case of waiting for a break below some support areas to sell. So I'll be watching that, and I'll keep you up to date with it.